I have been living and traveling full-time in my vehicle for 6 months. Here's what I've learned so far. Welcome back to Wandering Belle. I'm Belle, and beside me is Rue, who has no idea what's going on right now. And this is my first major milestone along this journey. So I felt that it was a good time to discuss things that I've learned so far. And maybe if you're thinking about this lifestyle, some of the things that I've learned or share with you today can be taken into consideration before you start your journey. Before I get into all of this, I just wanted to say, first and foremost, thank you to Kathy from Traveling with Charity, who showed me so much love and support, and her shout out on her channel brought over so many of her wonderful followers. So thank you to Kathy. Thank you to everybody that came from her page. Thank you to my Skin Folks family, who also just have given me and shown me so much love and support. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and just know that as somebody that's very sensitive and emotional, I was definitely on my feels, and I was teary-eyed because I'm thankful that you're all here. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get into the 10 things I've learned on my 6 months nomad journey experience and all of that good stuff. The first is that the vehicle that you choose will set you up for success or failure. I think that this would be more of like an advice thing for those of you that are interested in this journey. And I say that because Lady E, which is what I call my truck, was not the intended vehicle at first. The vehicle that I had intended to start this journey with was a Class B camper van. And if I have footage, I will include it here. But my post-traumatic stress from that ordeal, I'd like to believe that I've deleted everything to try to erase it from my mind, but I'll show some clips if I do have footage of that vehicle. So the vehicle that you choose will make or break your journey, especially at first, and especially if you don't know if camping or living nomadically is for you. I chose that vehicle for several reasons. The first was that I was able to buy it outright, and I didn't have to make monthly payments on it. So that was important for me. The second was that insurance is much more affordable if you insure the vehicle as an RV versus an auto or a commercial policy, which is what I have for Lady E. I also felt like having that vehicle was a sign from God that should be the vehicle I start my journey with. The reason for that is I was looking for freedom the most at this point. And when I went to see this van, the couple had told me that they had given her the name of Freedom. So I thought it was this big sign from God that this was meant to be. They had assured me that she was mechanically sound because they had driven and traveled across the US for 2 years, and that she hadn't given any problems. So that was another reason. I think that the last reason why I wanted and was stuck on that van was because I felt like I wanted to be as stealth as possible, and I felt like if people were to look at the van, they would think that the person inside doesn't have anything valuable and would just skip over the van if they were going to attempt to break in and steal something. So those are all the reasons that I held on to this vehicle. And long story short, I poured my heart and soul into that van. I stripped it down. I semi-converted it, and I spent so much money, thousands and thousands of dollars on mechanical issues, on the actual build, so much that I realized if I don't start saving and like stop spending on this and start saving, I won't have enough to start this journey, period. So very, very, very last minute, I gave up on freedom, and I had a month left, and I decided to just get another vehicle. I sold freedom to a junkyard. I found Lady E, and I moved in 2 weeks. So looking back, I know that I probably wouldn't have made it even out of Georgia, which is where I was living right before starting this journey. And I wouldn't have made it this far if I stayed in that vehicle. So that is the first thing and the biggest thing that I've learned. If you're considering this lifestyle, consider either spending a little bit more to get a mechanically safe and sound vehicle, or buying a fixer-upper but giving yourself enough time and obviously the finances to fix it up before you start your journey. It was getting to the point where I didn't have enough to keep spending. I felt like I was bleeding financially, and yeah, it was like I only have a month left, nothing to show for it in freedom, so I had to make a move, and I did. Now I realize that was all part of the plan, and that Lady E, I'm so glad I have her, because yeah, I probably wouldn't have made it this far if I was in freedom. The second thing that I've learned is that the people that I've encountered in the nomadic community, and not just my skin folks family, but I mean the nomadic culture in general, are the most selfless and generous people. The spirit of generosity that I've seen is amazing. I've grown up around people in urban areas my whole life, from Rhode Island, New York to Georgia. I've lived next to people, across from people, and don't know their story, don't know their name, wouldn't ask them for help. But what I've witnessed and what I've experienced, people giving back to each other in the way that I've seen and have received myself and have given back, I haven't seen it in any other community that I've come across. And it's so beautiful because it changes your perspective on humanity, and it allows you to see the good versus, judgment and any other negative traits that, people are just so accustomed to seeing. And the next thing is that I've grown tremendously as a person in this short amount of time. Not only have I been able to accept help more freely, I've noticed that I care less about anything else, any outside noise, and I am more in tune with my spirit, and that allows me to do things maybe that I was too timid or shy to do previously. An example is that, I would be so shy to go into a Planet Fitness to take a shower because, oh my gosh, I wouldn't go work out, and it's gonna look weird if I just go in and half an hour later I'm walking back out. Now I just don't even care. Another thing was, I would be so shy to, if I didn't have, solar, if the weather conditions were too cloudy, I wasn't able to charge my Bluetti through the solar panel, and I would need to plug into an outlet, I would go into Starbucks. But that took a long time to even get to that point, because I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna look crazy with this big old thing that's heavy, and I'm gonna be charging like all of my devices. And now I just don't care. So I've come out of my shell more. I am still learning how to come out of my shell even more, but approaching people is something that I'm working on, that I felt like I didn't have to do before, but definitely now I do. My financial discomfort. So I took to the road with no job, and I had savings, so that's what has sustained me so far. And, I've always had dreams and goals that, at least financially, or when it came to business or career, I had always put my dreams to the side. I prioritized maybe something that was safe versus the risk of working for myself. And it wasn't until I've felt this financial discomfort that I've been able to, again, just shut all that noise down that's in my ear, in my head, just all around within myself. It's encouraged me, it's motivated me to put my dreams first, to put myself into gear, to start to work for myself, and realizing like there is no stability unless and until I create it financially. I'm more open to criticism, to open criticism than before. Again, living up to family expectations, societal expectations, living this way, my family does not understand. My family, I wouldn't say doesn't support me, but they just don't understand. So it's very hard for them to give me reasons to continue this journey. They want me to go home as soon as like yesterday, and because they don't think I'm safe, they don't think it's smart, and all of that. So I'm open to criticism. I'm better equipped to handle it, because there's been more of a reliance on self and more of a connection to self to be able to deal with that. And the survival kind of instincts have kicked in. And so with the endless amount of decisions that I make on a day-to-day, where I'm going, what I'm doing, it's forcing me to be even more self-reliant, but in a different way. It's allowing me to be more confident in myself, in my decisions, in my ability to handle things, my capabilities to get out of things, to learn new things. It's caused a lot of internal growth, for sure. The fourth thing that I've learned is that freedom is not always easy. What I wanted, as I said, was complete and total freedom. But with that comes great responsibility. Everything that I do now is entirely up to me. And my actions have consequences, as we all know, right? Our actions have consequences, but it can either be positive or it can be negative, depending on what I choose to do. So freedom tests my discipline, my willpower, my perseverance. I've wanted to give up several times. And where I didn't think I was the type of person that would give up easily, I've almost have on a few occasions. And so, but through all of that, I've grown and I've come to appreciate all of that. And of course, having the right support system to still encourage you despite setbacks is super important. That leads into the fifth thing, which is community. In those moments of struggle, it's so important to have people that understand your journey or the reason why. And again, I don't get that from family. So it is so nice to have people around you that understand your need to live this way and to encourage you, even though they don't necessarily know that they do. Being around community has also taught me balance, balancing being around people and my need for solitude. And so finding ways that I can, if I want to be around a group, managing that. And then if I really feel like I need to reset and just unplug from the world, then, so be it. I still do it. But learning how to balance that is something new, because I was very much a loner before. The sixth thing is that flexibility is key. I've always been a person that has had structure. This would be the first time in my life that I don't. Being a nomad who is very dependent on weather, flexibility is definitely crucial. Your ability to go with the flow and maybe have structure, but not have it written in stone or set in stone. Learning how to balance that, I've had to kind of learn how to do. The seventh thing I've learned is that there's no perfect way to live this lifestyle. There are people who decide to live on campgrounds for the whole year or year round. There are people that live on BLM land year round. There are people who just continuously travel. Learning how to balance your needs, your desires is important. That's something that I'm still learning how to do. I thought initially that I would just be traveling, go, 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 go. And the reality is that I can't financially. And even if I were able to financially, I think that's very taxing on me. I think that would be extremely, extremely hard to deal with all of the time traveling, because I very much need me time and being alone and being quiet. So yeah, and that's part of the fun of it as well, is figuring out yourself in the process, what you need, what you want, and being able to incorporate that into this lifestyle so that you can be as happy as you can be. The eighth thing that I've learned is that home is a concept that I'm learning to build day by day. I've never felt like, this is going to sound weird, but I've never felt like any specific place that I've lived, whether that be an apartment, a house, a city, a state, I never felt at home anywhere. On the opposite side, I felt like home is everywhere, because I've felt very connected as a spiritual being. I've felt very connected to everyone and everything. The goal was to have, and is to have, Lady E feel like my home. That makes me even more excited to build her out, to come in and feel just the warmth and cozy feeling of home. That's something that I'm looking forward to. The ninth thing that I've had to learn, that I feel like I'm still learning, is that there's no rush. As I said before, everything has always had a structure in my life, and everything has always been, okay, I'm going to be doing this. I've had like my day-to-day, everything planned. And even if nothing was planned, it would become routine to do the same things every day. And so to come to a place and to kind of park and to sit here and not have any set amount of time that I want to stay here, I can explore the surrounding cities, the surrounding area. I can see what tourist attractions are near. I can connect with people from like the local community. I can stay for as long as I want. I can go as quickly as I want, and there's literally no rush. And that's something that it takes some adjusting to, because just imagine feeling that weight of, okay, go, 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 go. And now it almost feels like something's wrong, you know? Like, I don't feel stressed in that way anymore. So, you know, it's interesting. The last thing, number 10, is that less is more. I've been, I would say, a minimalist person. And I've learned that comfort doesn't come from things. Comfort comes from my connection to myself, my connection to my spirit, my soul, my connection to the universe or God. And there were a lot of things that for lack of time, I just kind of threw in here. But I felt like I needed all of these things as well at some point. Otherwise, I would have, donated it or gotten rid of it. And the amount of things that I've already given back, donated, has let me know that I've grown in that sense. I don't need as much as I thought I needed. And everything that I own is in this truck. So I already don't have a lot to begin with. But like clothes, for example, I need a couple of outfits in case I need to dress up and look cute and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, the reality is, how often am I doing that? Not very often. So do I need these clothes? Not really. Things like that, appliances or gadgets. Or I've learned that sometimes being in nature, staring at the skies, going for a hike, being with Rue, being with community, brings so much more comfort than, an appliance does. Like, those moments are so much more fulfilling. And that concludes all that I've learned on my journey so far. It is a lot. It wasn't until I wrote all of these down because I didn't think that this video would be this long. But as I started writing, first of all, I never thought I'd have 10 things. Then to have something to say for all of these things, look, it took me by surprise. And I'm excited to see what else I learn. I'm excited for myself that I'm evolving and kind of growing out of my shy persona, that I'm a little bit more confident in my, capabilities, my survival capabilities, my decision-making capabilities. And it's all because I've been forced to. And maybe you don't need that pressure to kind of force you to grow, but I know that I needed this. And so I'm also just thankful that I'm here, that I decided to stick through it, that I've been able to see myself blossom, that I have friends and community that encourage me, that help me to spread my wings, that give me that additional kind of security and safety blanket to let me know that things are going to be okay, but they allow me to be me and just to be independent as much or as little as I want to. And I'm excited to see what the future holds. I hope that, by the time the year mark comes, I can give you 10 more things. And if not, that'd be okay too. So if you're on this journey, let me know, what have you learned? And if you're thinking about this journey, if you're thinking about this lifestyle, I hope that if you're thinking about this lifestyle, let me know if anything here has helped you prep for your upcoming adventures. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all the new subscribers again. Kathy, thank you. Skim folks, thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.